It takes a lot of courage to be a champion. This parent tip is specific to you. When you know you're raising a champion, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of energy, a lot of funds. You know what it takes. Over the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years, I've had the privilege of working with athletes at the highest level, from Olympic champions to NHL superstars. And it really has been a journey of learning what it takes. What are the type of goals they have to set in order to become the person to win an Olympic gold medal or an NHL or to even earn a scholarship at the college of their choice? So for them, for your athlete, it takes a lot of courage, but it also takes a lot of courage for you as a parent. And I'm going to go through the 15 C's, the things that I've learned and isolated to help you see how important it is for you to understand your role and the courage it takes to be a champion parent. The first C is create. You need to create your own reality, create the family environment and the success tips that you need to make sure that you're supporting your child the best that you can. Create an opportunity for you to have some self-care time. Create the opportunity and the time and the space for you to make sure that you get a chance to go and watch them train and watch them compete. So you get to, as the parent, be the driver. You're the creator of the reality. The second C, compete. In order to win, you have to compete. That means you have to be better than your opponent, better than somebody else. You have to play to win. And that doesn't mean you compete against everything. What I like to do is train an athlete and a parent and the circle of support, including the coaches, is to compete for something. You're competing to be better than you were yesterday. You're competing for an outcome. You're competing for a medal. When you have that opportunity to compete, then you're competing from a higher level. It engages all of your emotional energy to compete for something. Notice if you're setting yourself up or your child up to be competing against his teammates or competing against her coaches, for example. So number 2 is compete, play to win. Number 3, this one's pretty obvious. It's courage. Do you have the courage, first of all, to tell the truth, to do what you say you're going to do? Are you going to have the courage to get them there on time, the courage to decide what program you're going to put them in, and then commit all the way through? Sometimes we want our kids to be committed to something and not quit. We got to go all the way through, and you got to have the guts to do it. But then sometimes we don't have the courage to do that. So number 3 is courage. The number 4 C, this one's really important, is character. You want to understand that sport builds character. The game, the sport is not the outcome that you're only going for. We're going for who do we have to become and what lessons do we have to learn and utilize in life that we learn from sport. So the character that sport builds from failing, from falling down, from not succeeding. I don't know a lot of people who've grown and been successful when they've won every single thing they've done. It actually doesn't build the character or the resilience that's needed. So character, aim high. Number 4, know that you're helping to build character in an athlete. Number 5, clarity. This one seems so obvious, but it's not. Clarity is so important. If you've got a lot of distractions going on in your life and your business and your work and your home and your family, and you're maybe a sandwich generation looking after elderly parents and young kids, there's a lot of confusion and chaos that can go on in a life. But it's your job to really quiet things down and gain clarity, even if it's just in one area. If you've chosen to do a quantum speed program, for example, or you're taking part in your own champion's journey, slow down and remember that excellence happens in states of deep relaxation, and clarity can only come when you quiet your monkey mind and give yourself moments in time to be clear. Next one is confidence. This one's tricky because we all want our kids to be confident. Be confident in your exam. Be confident. Just go out there and skate with confidence, confidence, confidence. We throw this word out like we know what it means. But confidence isn't a feeling, and I need you to get this. Confidence is an action. Confidence is the ability to fall down and trust yourself to get back up again. And when you do that, you have the courage to take the next step. So to me, courage and confidence are aligned. If you have the confidence, you will also have the courage and vice versa. So let me break the word down for you. Confidence. The root of the word confidence is fid, F-I-D. Fid is the root of the word fidelity. If you want your child to be confident, You need to be faithful or have the fidelity to stay true to the decisions that you've made. Stay true to the commitment. Be faithful to your training, for example. If you trust your training and they trust their training, confidence will increase because confidence is a journey. It's rarely owned. You know, we look at people and they look so confident out there when they're competing and winning medals and trophies, etc. But the truth is, confidence is borrowed. It's rarely owned. It's shared and it's borrowed. So think about the word confidence, break it down and see what you're being truthful and faithful to, and you'll start to see the confidence in your child increase. This is a fun one too. This C is composure. Composure. Why is this on a journey of being a champion? Well, the root of the word composure is POS, positive. In order to maintain composure, seeing things through a filter of what the benefits are is very important. So if you can hold your composure in any situation and find what we call neutral, you will be more composed when it comes to taking action or even in the words that you choose. Under high stress situations, which is competition, which is the adversity that can come from being an athlete or being a coach, or even on some sort of champion's journey, there's a lot of adversity. I always say something's going to happen on the way to the Olympic Games. How do you handle it? Well, you handle it with composure, and it's seeing it through any situation, seeing it through the filter of being positive. Composure is very important. How you present yourself to the world is how you're going to be judged, and that's a combination of courage and confidence. We're halfway through the list. The next one is going to seem funny in an odd way, but it's closure. Now, you would think closure would be at the end, but it's not. Closure is midway because everything we do, whether it's an ice session, a training session, a business, maybe it's a graduation, a marriage, maybe even it's a death. There's closure and the respect for something coming to an end that needs to be acknowledged. Sport happens in seasons. There's the training season, the development season, the competitive season. Then there's the rest and the recovery season. Each one of those seasons has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So if you start to understand that closure is a very important, once you open something up, if you keep it open and just keep going all the way and you don't have that moment of reflection or celebration, etc., it's not closed. It's very difficult to open up to the next season. So for example, the training season leads to the tryout season. Sometimes those get messed up and they get compressed. And if you don't have that conversation, for example, with your child around the dinner table about, okay, what did you learn? What was a benefit? What did you not like? What was the highlight? These types of things about the training season. It's very hard to go into tryouts or to know that the competitive season is right around the corner. So each one of your seasons, each one of your opportunities, even a graduation, for example, is an example of a closure. So give yourself the opportunity to close each part of the season or each session or each training day on your own terms. I love this one. This is class. When you have class, you are showing respect. You're giving respect. You're giving opportunities. You're asking questions. You're seeing the good in things. You're seeing the positive environment. When you have that ability to see the best in other people, you look classy. So when that happens, you can set yourself up and your athlete in environments where they know that they can trust your ability. You're not going to go off and start screaming at the end zone at the goalie, and you're going to show up in situations with class. When you respect yourself and you respect others, that is the highest form of class. I always say to the athletes, you don't have to respect me. I would love to earn your respect. And in that dance, in that process that we do, we're showing class. This C gets a little confusing. It's credit. We always seem to want to get credit. Get credit. I want to be acknowledged. I want to be known for something. It's all about me, all about me, all about me. Unfortunately, the courage to be a champion requires you to give credit. So for example, when you have a coach that's really committed to the outcome of your athlete, give the coach credit. Yes, they're being paid, for example, but they're also doing what they love to do and they're passionate about what they're doing and they're committed and being paid to do a job to create an outcome for your athlete. Give that coach credit. Give your child credit. Give the athlete the credit they deserve. Positive credit really inspires and allows the people to go further. If you don't give credit or if you're holding credit back, it doesn't motivate people. I don't care. You could be the most highest paid coach in the world, but if you're not receiving some acknowledgement and some gratitude and some credit from your clients, it really, really hurts. And it can stop that inspiration and that motivation. So remember, don't always seek credit. As a parent, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get a lot of credit. Maybe until that day you see your child on stage or appreciating you in a way that you never even thought. When they say something to their friends, when they don't know you're listening, that's the pieces of credit that you can seek. But don't look for it. Don't put yourself ahead of your child, ahead of the coaches. Be that strong support so that they know that you know where you stand in their circle of support. Credit. Remember to give it. This one cracks me up. I have this one on there because it's so true. This C is charisma. This isn't about, being super sexy and always having the right outfit and understanding fashion and being, ahead of the curve in the music industry. It's about knowing yourself. Charisma. The most charismatic people are the most real. They're the ones that aren't afraid to get back up after they've fallen, or if they've, done something silly and they own it, for example. That is charisma. When you see your child surrounded by the people that he hangs out with or she hangs out with, there's always going to be one or two of those kids that have that little spark, that little it factor. And that's because they really have a filter of not really caring what other people think about them. And to me, that's the foundation of charisma, is that you have class, you respect other people, you are not afraid to screw up. And when you do, you own it. And it's having fun along the way. To me, that's charisma. And that's why this is on the list. Completion. Completion is so important. Now, it's different than closure. Closure is when one season ends and the other one opens, that you have to acknowledge what you learned, what you liked, what you didn't like, etc. That's closure, and that sort of happens midway. Completion is different. Completion is about getting to the end of something. Maybe it didn't work, and then finding solutions. That's what completion is. When you come to the completion of something, you know it's over. It doesn't mean something's going to be opening up next. Maybe it does, when one door opens and when one door closes, another window opens, or whatever the saying is. Completion is when you know in your heart something's done, like the end of a career, maybe a retirement. Maybe it's the end of a relationship. There's something that shifts in your body when you get to completion. It's a knowing. You can be challenged on it, especially if other people don't want you to be complete. But when you're complete and it's a soft no in your body, you know that it's time to move on. And this has happened many times, I find, with athletes. They get to the end of a cycle or the end of a career and they know it. They're complete. They've done everything they need to do. They've experienced what they need to experience. They've had the accolades or the failure, or maybe it's an injury. We don't know. We never, ever, 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 ever 5 times know what's going on for someone else. But when someone says it's complete and it's over, believe them. One of the most important C's is community. Sport and life and working together and contributing, volunteering, working as a paid coach, whatever it is, find your community, find your tribe, build it around you intentionally, because when you own and contribute to your community, it gives back to you. There's no giving without receiving when it comes to community. If you're volunteering or sharing your knowledge or showing up as a paid coach, or even just driving the carpool or helping them with food prep on a Sunday, understand that your community, your tribe, is also intentional. If you're just randomly in some sort of community and it's not on purpose, you're probably not going to be around a group of people or an environment of like mind or of similar values. It's very important to create your community intentionally, find people of like mind, share common values, so that when you're giving, you also know that it's going to come back in spades. Community, own it. We're getting near the end, and this is a fun one. Celebration, of course. Celebrate the wins, celebrate the learning, celebrate the lessons. You win some, you learn some. The celebration has to come at every level. If it doesn't, then we just go to barrel ass into the next thing without that moment of joy or just acknowledgement and celebration. Doesn't mean you have to get out the expensive champagne. It just means take a moment to celebrate. There's times when things are going rough in my life, and I find the little wins to celebrate. Sometimes it's just getting to the rink on time. Yeah, I got it. Sometimes it's not burning the dinner. Yay. So we celebrate the wins. And then when we recognize celebration, we start to yearn for it. We start to seek it so that we know when we get to something and we have the outcome that we want, we get to celebrate. We get to have the joy. I like to say that competition is the celebration of the preparation. When you celebrate the preparation, oh my gosh, that is the champion's journey right there, because the champion's journey is moments in time. It's a journey that ends sometimes on the podium and sometimes it ends in a retirement. You don't know where it's going to end. But if you're enjoying the journey along the way, honestly, celebrate the moments, the big wins, and the little wins. Okay, drum roll, please. Are you ready for the last C? It's choose. You need to choose to do it again or not. So when you think about these 15 C's and you think about them in the order that I've presented them in, the last one is choose. Who are you going to choose to be? How are you going to choose to show up? How are you going to choose to move forward in this environment, or maybe it's time to change? Know that you're in choice every single day, every moment. You are not a victim. You are not a victim to any of this. If you've chosen a champion's journey, it takes a lot of courage. Choose to do it again or not. It's your choice.